Hi there, this is Dr. Embody with Project 3. Here we're going to work with strings, but we're also going to have a lot of control, a bunch of loops, if statements, and so on. And it's all we're doing here is playing a game where the computer presents you with a string and then the user tries to type that string in exactly. So it's sort of a simple idea, and then we have different levels, and we keep track of scores and timing, and we wrap a lot around it. But at its heart, that's what it is, and that's really important from a problem-solving standpoint. So you look at this project and you go, whoa, there's a lot of complexity there, and there is. However, with any problem, you want to throw out sort of the complexity part and try to get at the core of what's going on. And often that core is relatively easy, and you can start with that and feel like you've accomplished something, and then you can build on what you've got working. And that's what I want to sort of show you today with respect to this project. So first of all, I'm going to play the game, show you how it plays, and then I'm going to come back to this idea of sort of what is the core thing going on here. So let's take a look at how this game is played. So I've started it here, and there are some difficulty levels: easy, M for medium, H for hard, and then if you just hit the enter, you'll get the default, which is explained in the lab itself. So let's take easy, and you see that it has given me a string, and I have to enter that string. Okay, and it says, "Good job." You were asked to do this, and that's what you gave it. And so here's another string, and again, it's timing me, and it looks like I took too much time, and it stopped. Okay, so let's go back and let me be a little, there we go. So it forgives me for spacing because I'm on the easy level and things like that. Now what happens if I put something wrong in there? It says incorrect, it stops the game, and so on. So that's a little bit about how you play. If you get a medium or a hard level, there's actually be more characters, like it will include things like punctuation and stuff like that. And then does it forgive spacing? Does it forgive the case? A whole variety of things like that. And oops, I better quit this. That's what I wanted. At the end, it's going to give you a total of how you did. I got 3 out of 20. Not very good in my total rewards, so you get some points, and you get more points for harder ones, and so on. But the core of this is build a random string, print it out, and then the user will type it in, and you'll do a comparison. That's the core of it. And you always want to figure out what is the core part of the program. So let's take a look at the core part. So one of the things that we have to do is build a random string. So I will call it random string. And one of the patterns that we have in when we have strings is that if we want to build a string, we start with an empty string and add on to it. We've seen with arithmetic that if you want to count things, you start with say an integer at 0, and you keep adding 1 onto it. So here I'm going to start with an empty string, and I'm going to add on to that. And one of the things that we do is we do have a length, and an easier an easier difficulty level will have a shorter string than a harder difficulty level. And again, we can come back to that. That's not the core part, though. So I want to build something that it is of that strength. And what do I need to do? Well, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to need, what I'm doing is I'm generating random letters. Well, I have this, what I call the alphabet easy, which is string.ASCII letters. So all the ASCII letters, that's basically our upper and lowercase letters. Because I ran the program, this is available there, so you can see it's the upper and lowercase letters. And so what, how do I get random values here? Is what I'm going to do is my index will be a random number, and I call randint. Now it turns out that we don't use the true random one for testing. I actually have a program called that pretends to be the random. I'll talk about that more in a moment. And what this does is this randint takes two values and you need to have something on there like a +1 or a -1. I'll let you think about which one is the right one there, and because the indices start at 0, and are they the length, or the length -1, or do I even need that in there? Because I'm picking, but what you're doing with randint is you are picking values, up to and including that. So now I get an index randomly. Because I'm testing this, I'll actually print my index, and let's see what happens when I actually run this piece of code. And I get a bunch of random numbers. And so index 4 will go in here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we would expect to get an F out of this, an index 9, and so on. So I'm getting some indices there. What do I want to do with them? Well, I want to take my random string and add on to it whatever I get out of that. My easy alphabet at that index. And when I'm all done, I need to print out this string for the user to type. And it's the EGJBGL, and then I'm going to ask the user to type that in, and then I'm going to compare it. Now, because this is not truly a random number generator, every time it's going to give me the same values. That's for our mirror testing. I could, if I wanted to, I'll leave this in as a comment, if you wanted to truly do this as a using the actual random number generator, that's the way you do it. And our randint allows us to do this for testing. Now, once I have a string, what do? Well, I'll ask the user to type in, right, enter the string, and then I will compare the user's string to my random string. Right? And that's the game. Right? That's the core of the game. Now, it turns out that there's more to it. Like, so, for example, if somebody chooses the easy level, then that's going to have an impact on the length. And by the way, we're going to generate this length randomly within some range. That adds a little complexity to it. So there'll be, so the length won't always be the same, and and then how long it is changes as you go from easy to medium to hard. And so not only will you generate those randomly, but they have to be in some range. Like, doesn't make sense to have a length of -1 and things like that. There's 2 alphabets. We provide these. There's the easy one, and then there's the alphabet that we use for the medium and hard. So okay, so now we choose our whichever particular alphabet we're going to do here, and and so we keep we add some complexity in there. This core gets done. That's the loop for our games. We'll actually do this 10 times. So that will give us a for loop that will play this game 10 times. All right, and then there's the main while loop, which keeps giving you this prompt and seeing if you want to keep playing the game, like I showed earlier. So we start with this core that we have, and we expand on that. But this is the heart and soul of the game. Generate a random string, and then ask the user to to type it in, and you compare it. And then what else do we do? Well, we have a scoring system, and so if you do a harder string successfully, you'll get a higher score. And we also keep track of the time. If you take how much time, not only what kind of score did you get, but what was the total time that it took you to do that. So we're adding this complexity on there, but again, the core of it, the starting point, generate a string and generate a random string, and then ask about that. So think about whenever a very handy way to look at a problem is, what is there in there that is the core of it, and also what is the thing in there that I can do, right? And often you'll find a core, it's like, oh, is that what you want me to do? Oh, I can do that. But when you look at the whole problem, it's like, whoa, that thing is really complex. Try to extract out that small part that you can do, and then build on it from there. So one other thing I want to point out is this random file that we have for you, and for the tests, it actually I collected up a set of random numbers. I actually generated these with a random number generator, but if you want to run the tests like in Spider or PyCharm, if you happen to be using that, what you need to do is there's this values, which is a tuple or list of all the particular values that you have, and you can see that, for example, for test 2, that one is commented out, and for test 3 it's commented out, and for test 4 it's commented out. It's not commented out for test 1. So this is the set of values to actually exactly run test 1. If you want to run test 2, then you want to comment that one out and uncomment this one. Those are the random numbers for test 2, and so on for test 3 and test 4. Because if we're going to test on mirror, we can't have truly random numbers. So I have to create a pseudo-random number generator. It's kind of interesting if you're curious about it. Is how does it go about doing its job? All right, hopefully that's enough of a clue to get started on it. Good luck.